My interest started with something simple. While attempting to look into the so-called conspiracy of Hollywood being used as a propaganda brainwashing tool, I went back to months before October 7th even happened. What I discovered was chilling. The Zone of Interest, a Holocaust drama that premiered at Cannes in May 2023. In this movie, you watch Rudolf Haas and his wife sipping tea, planting flowers, throwing parties. Over the wall is Auschwitz. It's burning. You hear the screams, the gunfire, the furnaces. That's the point. The banality of evil. Ordinary people living comfortably while genocide unfolds just next door. By December, as Gaza burned, the film opened in US theaters. And in 2024, it swept awards, Oscars, BAFTAs, headlines everywhere, all about Jewish suffering. I thought, isn't that convenient? While Israel starves, 2 million Palestinians in an open-air prison, Hollywood reminds us only of Auschwitz, of Jewish suffering. The parallels were eerie, the storyline inverted. A few films of similar ilk were released leading up to and after October 7th. That's when I thought, wait a second, is this just coincidence? Or is this a playbook? So I went back to 1993 because I thought, what on earth must have been happening when Schindler's List dominated the headlines? Israel signed the Oslo Accords, that famous handshake on the White House lawn. It's sold as peace, but Palestinians lose control of borders, checkpoints multiply, and settlements keep spreading. December that year, Spielberg dropped Schindler's List. It won 7 Oscars in 1994. And when an Israeli settler massacred 29 Palestinians in Hebron in early 1994, the world's headlines weren't on Hebron. They were on Spielberg's Holocaust epic. Coincidence? Conspiracy? Or cover-up? 1998, Netanyahu and Arafat forced into another U.S. deal at the Y plantation talks. Rumors of White House phone tappings by Israel at the time of the Clinton-Monica Lewinsky scandal. Despite the deal, Israeli settlements keep growing and Palestinians get more land stolen. And then in Hollywood, Broadway, Parade premieres weeks later in December. Musical about Leo Frank, Jewish factory manager, framed as a martyr of anti-Semitism. Only he was convicted of murdering a child. He wasn't innocent. The ADL itself was founded on Frank's case. But regardless, Hollywood creates the Leo Frank musical, a Jewish martyr story, wins Tonys, and today they are bringing it back to life. Another blast of Jewish victimhood, right as Israel bleeds America dry at the negotiating table. 2000, Camp David talks collapse. Israel frames it as Palestinians rejecting peace. In truth, the deal offered Bantustans, broken scraps under occupation. And what's on American TV? Uprising, a miniseries glorifying Jews in the Warsaw Ghetto, resistance framed for Jews, Palestinian resistance smeared as terrorism. And what happens next? 9/11, the war on terror. Israel locks arms with America's fear machine. So what was Hollywood up to during this time? Months later in 2002, The Pianist premieres at Cannes. Wins awards. By March 2003, it sweeps the Oscars Best Director, Best Actor, Best Screenplay. The whole world cries for the Warsaw Ghetto, even as Gaza and the West Bank are turned into ghettos. 2005, Israel pulls settlers out of Gaza, calls it a sacrifice. In reality, it cages Gaza under siege. December that year, Spielberg strikes again with Munich, a prestige film about Jewish victimhood and righteous vengeance. 5 Oscar nominations, message delivered. When Jews are attacked, retaliation is holy, and the Gaza prison becomes permanent. 2006, Lebanon war, and everything is illuminated. Israel bombs Lebanon for 34 days, retaliation after Hezbollah captures 2 Israeli soldiers and killed 3 more in a cross-border raid. What does Israel do? Retaliates using this pretext as a full-scale assault, killing 1,200 civilians. And what's circulating in theaters and on DVD? Everything is illuminated. Another tale of Holocaust trauma. Elijah Wood searching Ukraine for his family's ghosts. Israel levels Beirut, but audiences are nudged to weep once more for Jewish memory. 2008, Operation Cast Lead. 1,400 Palestinians are killed. And at the Oscars, The Reader. Kate Winslet weeps over Holocaust guilt. Another golden statue. Another smokescreen. 2014, Operation Protective Edge. Over 2,000 Palestinians were killed, many of them children. At the Oscars in 2015, Ida, a Polish nun, discovers her Jewish roots. Holocaust grief wins Best Foreign Film. 2015-2016, Netanyahu rages against Obama's Iran deal. On screen, Son of Saul, another Holocaust tour de force. Oscar winner, global tears, just when Israel needed sympathy leverage. 2018, Trump moves the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. Palestinian protesters in Gaza gunned down by the dozens. Meanwhile, Israeli film Foxtrot makes festival rounds. about IDF trauma. So the sympathy shifts from Palestinians bleeding in Gaza to Israeli soldiers crying on screen. Families expelled from Sheikh Jarrah. Another Gaza war. Streaming platforms pump out new Anne Frank series and documentaries. Again, the Holocaust cycle spins while Palestinians are thrown onto the street. 2023, the full symphony, Golda, in August, celebrating Israel's wartime prime minister. One Life in September, Nicholas Winton saves Jewish children. Then in May, and then to be released in the US in December, The Zone of Interest, which piqued my interest, the Auschwitz Commandant's Garden. Then October 7th, Israel bombs Gaza into famine and ruins. As awards season roll, the world cries Holocaust tears again. On screen, a family sipping tea while screams echo from Auschwitz. In reality, Israelis sipping tea in stolen orchards, dancing at music festivals on stolen land, while Palestinians starve in camps behind walls. The parallel is obscene, and the timing is the tell. 30 years of breadcrumbs, Oslo and Schindler's List, 9/11 and The Pianist, Gaza Siege and Munich, Cast Lead and The Reader, Protective Edge and Ida, and now Gaza Genocide and The Zone of Interest. This isn't coincidence. It's calculated. It's effective. It's an age-old propaganda tactic. Politics commit the crime. Hollywood wins the Oscar. This is how you brainwash the masses. And once you see the playbook, you can't unsee it. Don't look away. Realize what's happening.